For this week's assignment, I talked to Denny Allen, who was the Olympic Center general manager at the Herb Brooks Arena in Lake Placid for 24 years before retiring this past May. Um, Denny was a local from Lake Placid, played hockey, did all the winter sports there his whole life, ended up going to St. Lawrence University, where he did play hockey, graduated in 1977, and he graduated with a degree in sociology, but decided to go back to Lake Placid and do a few different jobs in contracting, carpentry. He worked at the federal prison, which he didn't love, but ended up actually being used as the housing for the athletes for the 1980 Olympics, which is kind of cool. Right before that, he was his old coach came to him and said there was an opening as the director for the Lake Placid Organizing Committee and hired him to do the events and be an administrative assistant for the ice sports for the Olympics. And in 81, right after the Olympics, the Olympic Center was working for the North Elba Town District in Orta, which is the Olympic Regional Development Authority, hired him as their first ever director of operations, which he's been doing ever since. And he actually followed in the footsteps of his father, which I knew about a little bit, but found this clip from an article where it says that his father is considered to be the godfather of U.S. women's hockey. And after years of managing the St. Lawrence hockey team in Canton, he became the events coordinator, was also the president of the New York State Amateur Hockey Association, secretary, vice president, and director of USA Hockey, and chairman of the 1980 Winter Olympics. He was also on the 1998 U.S. Women's Hockey Team Committee, which won the gold in Japan. And the U.S. Hockey hands its annual Women's Player of the Year named for Bob Allen, his dad, which is all kind of crazy. When asked about current job requirements for the arena, maintaining an events calendar, there's tons and tons that goes on. They're busy all winter long with ice skating, hockey, clinics, tournaments, events. So that being able to coordinate all of that and staffing in general, maintenance of the rink, security for the rink. It's a very popular destination and spot, and just making sure with a lot of moving parts and a lot of people coming in and out. And just, keeping its historic charm and making sure that stays really relevant, and for visitors and staff alike. Denny said he worked an average on 50 hours a week, mostly nights and weekends with the busy winters. The best part about his job was being part of youth experiences, so students learning how to skate, falling in love with hockey. He's really enjoyed being a part of that and watching everyone progress every day in such a special place. He supervised 15-ish people daily, including ice staff, maintenance staff, and then up to 40 on events. So that's press and media and security and maintenance guys and interns, everything. He was the head of all of that. When asked about the most challenging part of the job, he said that it's the age of the building, and a lot of stuff that was installed in the late 70s is now they're having trouble refitting it. So parts that might be in the very historic time countdown, they don't even make anymore. So how do you keep something so historic up and running with a part that you can't even get, was the hardest part of the job, in making sure that it was staying relevant but also historic. The background of the facility, for those who don't know, it was the home of the Soviet versus U.S. Miracle on Ice game. So that's a huge part of the Olympic history, of America's history, that people still to this day come out from all over the world to see and to visit. What he most likes about the facility is the history and the way that people still get excited, and still hearing parents come in and explain to their kids what this was and what it means and what it meant for America and where they were at the time. He loves that about it and loves being able to share in that history with everyone and share his experiences, which people are blown away by, that he's been here this whole time. Trends in facility management is the technology upgrades and being able to use your space for other things on top of just hockey games. So concerts, brewfests, different things that you're able to just broaden what the scope of the rink can be used for. Technology it's impacting facility management every day, the way that everything's done, the way scheduling's done, the way announcements are done, everything. So just as it's always changing, we always need to be finding a way to keep it eco-friendly and ahead of the times. Does he feel that the oldest sports facilities can or cannot compete with new facilities that offer more amenities? And then where he feels like it is hard to compete, it's not impossible, especially with an ice rink. It's pretty standard stuff. There's always room for improvement, but he's finding that there was things that his rink couldn't offer that other rinks were. If he was designing a new facility, it would probably center around a video screen that could do player highlights, instant replays, history, facts, fan engagement. It would be something very top of the line and high tech that could really be utilized for different recruiting tools. And something that he would change, just being able to keep it in its same charm and having it really hold on to the history and not get lost in the changing world and get lost in people's excitement about it. So being able to kind of keep it the way it is, but still making sure that it was up with the times, I think is probably a challenge and something he would like to change but like to keep the same. And that's it. It was really interesting. I really recommend you do some research on Denny and the rink in general. Thanks.